世界ことよに優しの人いや I don't know if I'm trying to sing that song from Violet Evergarden, but I'm not sure I'm singing it correctly. A little bit later than yesterday, I guess. But yeah, this is probably gonna be the start of some daily streaming going on, right? This is gonna be pretty fun. Gonna go on for about an hour or so, maybe a little bit longer, but should be an hour, so probably until like 4:05, not 4:05, 5:01 or some shit. So that should be pretty fun. Let me see. Live now. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, now, let me check. There we go. Hey, what's up, Diego? What's up, Galactic King? What's up, Angelic Mexican? What's up, I am Mom? What's up, Just Venix? How's your day been? I've been a bit tired, but, relatively, it's been okay. It's been relatively okay. I think that peaked a little bit, so let me just turn it down a little bit. I still have not figured out the freaking, like, stream overlay, or for some reason. It's a little strange. But whatever. I'll figure it out later. I forgot how to, like, do my chat overlay shit. Whatever, it's fine for now. Thank God, I made it since the last time. You missed it? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, but you don't sweat it. Alright, so, how about we figure out what we want to do, today? So, yesterday we did CBR. I don't know how many of you guys want to do the same thing we did yesterday. So, you have the option to go for Persona 4. Me to start a Pokemon Nuzlocke with a couple of games I have going on. Pokemon Academy Life, you can have me play for a demo, or we can do a CBR stream again. So CBR, Persona 4, Pokemon Nuzlocke, or Pokemon Academy Life. Those are your 4 options today. So I don't know if you guys are really inclined to, like, again, do the same thing as yesterday, but if you want to, fine. I do still have a couple videos to go over, but yeah, I feel like if we're going to be doing something for the next hour or so, we might as well enjoy, right? Persona 4 Golden. Wait, no, Nuzlocke. Okay, so Fusion has changed his vote. We're like it's now a 1-1 series. It's now a 1-1 series, which is pretty interesting, I guess. I choose CBR. So CBR has 2 votes. Nuzlocke has 1. Persona 4 has 1. I got 2. It's 2-1-1. Going once. Going twice. This is gonna be This is gonna be interesting. I don't think. Okay, I guess we might have to go CBR again. Alright, I kind of feel a bit bad that I'm kind of doing a repeat of, like, last time, but, well, you know what, if people want it, that's fine. I do like the voting system a little bit better. I don't think there was a lot of people. Yeah, you know what, that's fine. We'll do, I still have a couple videos to go over, so, like, let's react to another CBR video. Team Naruto wants all the smoke from Sasuke's crew. My Academia snitch finally revealed. Ooh, what if Vegeta had been sent to Earth and Goku was the prince? What? God, these... I have a... Alright, so, like... I'm probably gonna do a I'm gonna do this video this time. This one is actually bad. This one actually might be really, really bad. Let me find it. There it is. Alright. Okay, there we go. Alright, fits. Alright, let's get this show in the row, boys.
We live in a time where there is no new Dragon Ball episodes, and us here at CBR find that to be unacceptable. So, let's write our own. Here's our pitch for a Dragon Ball series featuring Vegeta as the main character.
Vegeta as the main character, okay. Let's see what's gonna happen here.
Now this is one of the biggest what-if scenarios that Dragon Ball fans love to toy over.
Vegeta being the main character? How often do Dragon Ball fans actually think about this a lot? I mean, I guess it would be a decent scenario, I think, but how often do Dragon Ball fans actually, like, talk about this?
There has been a ton of fan speculation, art, and even webcomics depicting this scenario. For ours, we're gonna go a bit out there. Starting with Dragon Ball, we'll see the young Saiyan Prince get dropped a long way from the peace-loving Gohan. No, Vegeta's pod will instead land with Gohan's polar opposite, Mercenary Tao. We all know that Vegeta's a bit older than Goku, so that patented prideful attitude.
Okay, the problem that I have, by the way, with this is, like, why would Goku be the prince, and why would Vegeta be, like, the new, like, Saiyan or something? Because, like, I feel like people are forgetting, like, one important detail, by the way. Like, first off, Goku, what Vegeta is Vegeta all of a sudden not the prince anymore, and, like, it's now Goku? But, like, but if we're taking that into account, Vegeta was, like, a child prodigy at, like, a young age. He had, like, he had an insanely high power level, while Goku's was, like, below 10, I think. So, like, it was, like, I feel like there are just, like, a couple problems here that CBR is kind of, ignoring. Yeah, I can't So, I'm really confused as to, like, what is going on with, like, the logic here, but if you're, like, trying to make that switch, even if Goku, bro, honestly, if Goku was the prince, he would get fucking bullied to hell and back for being fucking weak. Like, oh my god.
Of his is already in place. He would use Tao to learn about human culture and train in their martial arts. Vegeta would likely learn from Master Shen's Crane School, besting Tien and Chaozu as Shen's star pupil. He'd probably even fight against Jackie Chun with all the same full moon hijinks as in the original anime. After losing the tournament to Chun, he would use Tao's...
He'd lose to Chun? Again, are we not taking into consideration how much of a child prodigy Vegeta was? I'd honestly think with his power level, he'd actually whoop Chun's ass at that point.
Connections to gain entry into the Red Ribbon Army. The young Saiyan would quickly rise through the ranks, defeating the likes of Colonel Silver, General White, and the androids with more ease than Goku did. This would culminate with the child warrior destroying Commander Red to take over the entire army. That victory would be short-lived, as King Piccolo would quickly rise to power. In Vegeta's haste to increase his power level, Piccolo would have succeeded in gathering the Dragon Balls. The Red Ribbon Army would have faced King Piccolo's forces only to lose against the enhanced Demon King. Like Goku, Vegeta would have sought the help of Kami. After training under his reluctant teacher, Vegeta faces Piccolo again and, like Goku, succeeds in destroying him. Only this time, Vegeta would obliterate him, leaving no chance of Piccolo's survival. With the Demon King destroyed, Vegeta would take his place as the Child King of Earth. Years later, Raditz would come to check in on his former friend's progress.
What? I got a bad feeling about where this direction is gonna go.
At first, he would be proud of all that Vegeta had accomplished in the name of Lord Frieza. Vegeta would scoff at this and...
Wait, but would Vegeta know who Frieza is? I'm so confused.
Over. There has been a ton. With Dragon Ball, we'll see the young Saiyan Prince get dropped a long way from the peace-loving Gohan. No Vegeta over. There has been a ton of fan speculation, art, and even webcomics depicting this scenario. For ours, we're gonna go a bit out there. Starting with Dragon Ball.
They definitely did go out there. So wait a minute, I'm so confused. So, like, how would Vegeta know who Frieza is if you're sending him to Earth? Does he all... Well, okay. So, Vegeta still... Planet Vegeta still obliterated? Is Goku, like, working for Frieza even though he would be, like, naturally weak? Yeah, that's also something that's really true as well. Vegeta would stump any challenge. Goku had no problem. You just gotta think, even Kid Vegeta based on train was probably around Goku was at the end of OG Dragon Ball weighted. Yeah, that's like something that I'm trying to figure out here. Like, a lot of this shit is just not making any sense. Like, is Vegeta like working for Frieza still in this timeline? or not, because like wasn't that after the entire? I'm so confused.
To speed up that there was another Saiyan, even new planet Vegeta, and the first of his new Saiyan Frieza. Vegeta would scoff at this and destroy Raditz in the ultimate show of disrespect to Frieza. He would
Well, they got that right.
declare Earth to be the new planet Vegeta and the first of his new Saiyan Empire.
Vegeta does not give a fuck about Planet Vegeta. I'm really serious about that. Dude did not give a shit about his own fucking father. Oh my god. He just has the pride of a fucking Saiyan. He's just not, but Vegeta's just never been interested in like remaking fucking Planet Vegeta or some shit. Just like being on his own, like having a family and shit, training and trying to beat Goku and shit. Like, Vegeta does not give a fuck about Planet Vegeta. What?
Unfortunately, right before he expired, Raditz would tell Vegeta that there was another Saiyan even more powerful than he was.
How? How is Goku stronger than Vegeta in the timeline? You can't just like make Goku unnaturally stronger like that. You just can't do that. What are you guys doing? Bro, do y'all not remember how Goku was weak? Or in the beginning was how weak Goku was? Bro, what?
Kakarot. Motivated to defend his new empire against Frieza's army, Vegeta would tell his Red Ribbon scientist Dr. Gero to speed up his android
Wait, where did they fucking come from? And why is Vegeta getting help from Dr. Gero? Why would he give a fuck about an android army? Why would Vegeta give a shit about any of this?
Program. Weaker versions of androids 16, 17, and 18 would help Vegeta train for the Frieza Force's attack. Training and losing against the androids over and over again would cause his power level to drastically increase.
Again, why is Vegeta employing... Also, why are the androids, like, here in this timeline? That doesn't make any... Like, is Android 18 here, like, early? Because that wasn't until, like, after the Frieza saga. What?
Instead of sending two Saiyans to conquer Earth, Frieza would send his entire army to meet Vegeta's insult. Vegeta and the enhanced Red Ribbon army would easily be able to get through
I don't know if the scaling adds up like that.
most of Frieza's forces.
I would have to, like, do calculations there.
Vegeta would even take his old friend Nappa out.
Does Vegeta still know Nappa in this? I'm still very confused as to, like, where this is going. There's not enough, like, connecting as to, like, there's not enough, like, connecting as to, like, where does this all going. It just feels like you're kind of, like, speedrunning for shit. Granted, I sometimes speedrun, but I at least have to try to, like, make sure that things can be connected and people can at least understand what's going on. I'm really lost where this is going.
Would be looking up for Vegeta until he would have to face Frieza's final team, the Kakarot Force. Vegeta and the androids would take most of the Force down, but Captain Kakarot would be unamused. This version of Goku,
Captain Kakarot. I've seen enough. I have seen enough. Oh my god.
Would have spent his time conquering and destroying planets as Frieza's right-hand man. He would even casually mention,
I feel like with minus being a thing, I've got a lot of questions there.
how he obliterated Zarbon, Dodoria, and Captain Ginyu. Kakarot would take out the androids no problem.
Wait, he took out his own men? Wait a minute, did he take out, like, his
right-hand man? He would even casually mention how he obliterated Zarbon, Dodoria, and Captain Ginyu.
Wait, did he kill his own men? Or, like, just beat them? 'Cause, like, what's the motivation there to just, like, get rid of them? If it just feels like a waste, you know? So, like, are they like, dead? or are they just like, or it's just like a sparring match? Because I'm really confused.
Kakarot would take out the androids no problem, just to show Vegeta how outmatched he was.
Wait, but if we're using the androids in like fucking in the fucking Android Saga, the androids were stronger in like that were like there's just no way that Goku at that point could beat them, especially if the androids are similar to like what they were in the Android Saga. What?
Then he would beat Vegeta to within an inch of his life. Captain Kakarot would present the battered Vegeta to Lord Frieza. The Warlord would gloat over Vegeta's body, even going so far as to admit that he destroyed the original planet Vegeta. This would catch Kakarot's ear and be the last straw. Kakarot would be...
How would Goku not know this though? I'm so confused. Wait, so like, I'm so confused. Like, was this like kept a secret from him? Or was this like, hey, what's up, Gurlogging guy? I'm so confused. What the fuck are they talking about? Okay, am I going crazy right now? Am I tripping when I'm just saying that I haven't understood a thing about where the fuck the story is going? Like, I'm really confused right now. I don't get it.
Begin to glow gold, revealing that he had unlocked the Super Saiyan ability years ago while destroying planet Namek. He would then turn on Frieza, wiping him out of the galaxy as...
What? Didn't Goku have to undergo, like, first off, the Tenji's training to get to that point? Plus, how can even do a dent to Frieza? And then after that, had to unlock fucking Super Saiyan after that? Like, Goku had to train, Goku underwent, like, not, like, harsh training during that 1 year during the year he was dead. But not only that, during the time period that he was, like, where he was in space, he did heavy gravity training to put him in like a decent, like, and then he had to do the Kaioken, and that shit still wasn't enough. But then, like, conveniently, when he got Super Saiyan, that was enough to put him over the top over Frieza's final form. I'm really confused as to like how Goku right here would beat Frieza unless you're just saying, oh, well, he has Vegeta's talent, so that's why he would win here. But that doesn't make any sense either, because Goku as a baby was not strong at all. Not at all. And again, he would get bullied for that.
As revenge for his homeworld. As a second course of destruction, Kakarot would unleash a supernova attack on Earth, claiming that Vegeta naming it after their home was blasphemy. Then he...
What?
Claiming that Vegeta... As a second course of destruction, Kakarot would unleash a supernova attack on Earth, claiming that Vegeta naming it after their home was blasphemy.
But Vegeta is like it's named after Vegeta, who also happens to be... What? I'm really confused as to like at this turn of events.
For me. Then he would leave Vegeta alive, saying that he would hate to take out...
Also, SSJ transformation needs really strong emotional stress. Learning about, like, the question then would have to be, like, is learning that the guy that you're a right-hand man to, is enough to, like, trigger Super Saiyan 1. To trigger the Super Saiyan transformation. I'm like, and like, at that point, like, if we're like saying, have you been Sage? I'm doing pretty decent. I'm just like trying to like, I'm about to get like a bunch of headaches I'm about to have a bunch of headaches just going off in my mind right now, but I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Cynical Weeb? I'm pretty sure if you're powerful enough, you don't need... Well, yeah, also, there is the fact that Vegeta did do it off of just sheer will of wanting to surpass Kakarot, or Goku, sorry, but, like, I don't know, man, it's just like... It's like learning that the guy that you're a right-hand man to destroyed your planet is that enough I'm like, and also like, would Goku even really give that much of a shit about Planet Vegeta, especially if Vegeta himself really didn't give that much of a shit about it either? I'm really confused.
The last Saiyan in the universe. He'd make some comment about how he was getting sentimental in his old age before leaving the former king all alone in the universe.
Huh?
With his second homeworld now destroyed, Vegeta would have only one place to turn.
Wait a minute! Is he like, can he breathe? Is he in a space pod? Or is he breathing in space? I'm really confused. I don't think Vegeta should be, like, breathing in space at this point. I really don't think so. I know that becomes a little bit inconsistent in Dragon Ball lore, but Vegeta at this stage probably shouldn't be breathing in space. Is he, like, in a space pod? I'm really confused. I would say that being betrayed by someone you trust enough to fight beside you, besides betraying you, would be enough.
Turn to take on a power as great as Kakarot.
Yeah, but my question is just like, first off, how did Goku not know this? And second, which is not made clear in the What If. Second of all, it's just like, how much of an attachment does Goku have to Frieza at this point? Especially since even Vegeta didn't like his ass.
The fabled god of destruction, Beerus. After years of searching, he would find Beerus's planet and beg to be trained by him to destroy Lord Kakarot. Beerus would, of course, initially refuse the request. After learning that Kakarot destroyed Earth without his permission, though, things would change entirely. Vegeta would spend years training with Whis and Beerus while Kakarot continued his rampage across the galaxy. As Lord
what's motivating him to, like, destroy these planets, though? Just for fun? I don't get it.
Kakarot prepared to finish off the combined forces of the Galactic Patrol and Cooler's army. Hey, none of this is canon. I can use Cooler if I want. Vegeta...
Not really? I don't think you should? Bro, what? Okay, so now Cooler appears. I'm so confused.
It would arrive, ready to throw down. This time, things would go very...
First, how would he find... Oh, yeah, that's true, too. How the fuck would he find it? How would he actually find Beerus's planet? Bro, the more I, like, look into this shit, it's just, like, it's becoming more of a headache to digest. At this point, I want my brain to just, like, shut off for once.
Very differently for Lord Kakarot. Thanks.
How would he even know about Beerus if he wasn't the... Oh my god, you're right. Oh my god. Only Goku would probably know about... Wait, so like, wait a minute. None of this shit makes any sense!
To his training, Vegeta would have achieved a whole new level of power. Super Saiyan 2.
Is that it? He wouldn't get, like, God Ki like he did in the original timeline? I mean, like, if you're really going that broken, just, like, if you're really just kind of fucking can up a little bit, why not just give him God Ki while you're at it?
Goku had remained undefeated for so many years, his power would have stagnated at Super Saiyan 1.
No, it wouldn't. Don't Saiyans, like, train a lot? Don't Saiyans just, like, try to train a lot to the best of their capabilities? I mean, Goku, for, like, a majority of the story, just kept training. So I don't think he was just, like, stagnant in power. I mean, he'd still stay at Super Saiyan 1, maybe. But would his power just flatline? I don't know.
After a long battle, Vegeta would finish Kakarot off. But the Saiyan Lord would smile as he breathed his final breath. You see, this Goku also had the idea for a tournament of power to establish his dominance over the multiverse. Vegeta now had a year to prepare for the ultimate battle for the fate of universe.
Where did we come from? We were like right over here with Vegeta being sent to Earth. And now we're all the way over here. Where does this all correlate? I feel like I'm being rushed through shit.
7. With no other Saiyans to help him reach God level, no friends to back him up, and no friendly rival to push him to new heights, Vegeta would go out in the early minutes of the tournament. He'd think back on his destroyed world.
Wait a minute, isn't he like being trained by fucking Beerus though and shit? And maybe Whis for like an entire year and shit? I am so confused.
Worlds, Earth and planet Vegeta, and he'd wish things had gone differently as he was wiped from existence forever.
Also, wouldn't that also mean that the rest of the universes get wiped out? Because only 17 was like, hey, or probably the rest of Universe 7 was like, hey, let's just bring back the other universes and shit. And then like Zeno would have just like erased all the rest of the fucking universes if they answered incorrectly. Mr. Sage, if Goku didn't stagnate, then how come in your What If Naruto was the same? Naruto's powers stagnate at the end. It didn't. Naruto's just a little bit young. Hey, Amy Sage, I gotta leave to do some house cleaning with the wife. Hope you recover some brain cells after this video. Love your vids. Thank you, Angelic Mexican. Thank you. I don't remember Naruto's powers stagnating at the end. I just think that, I just feel like, I just had Naruto take on a bit of a role of Gohan, which is similar to, and meaning to take the role of Goku. I don't think that Naruto would just, like, stagnate completely, though. I don't remember doing that at all. I have to look back in that series, but I don't think Naruto stagnated in power. I do not remember that at all. Grade free his ass and Kakarot still know that. I'm just like, yeah, I do not remember that at all. I just remember at the end just like kind of teasing like the potential rival of like Frieza and shit. But I never really had Naruto's power stagnate at that end. So I don't know, that's a little strange. No, but no problem. That was just on another level of confusing. I have never in my life encountered some shit that is just like so confusing in my life. Cause like I'm trying to like I felt like I was being dragged on like one like area, like one part of the story, and I just got dragged on the other side completely. It was the strangest thing. Fusion, I would just call that insulting yourself at that point, because like there is just no way that you could do worse than this shit, man. I'm sorry. That was ass. That was actually bad. Wait. Oh no, they did another one. Oh no, they did not. They have another one. Alright, hang on 1 second, boys. I am gonna get this video right for you guys. We got one more that I have to look at. I have got to look at this shit. This is actually...
We know you love Dragon...
Okay. This one could be worse. This one actually could be worse. I've talked with Drew about this video, and this video could actually be a lot worse in comparison. What if... Excuse me. Dragon Ball alternate timeline. Broly was sent to Earth instead of Vegeta. Oh no. Oh no.
We know you love Dragon Ball, and like us, are forced to wait for that Dragon Ball Super Broly sequel. Luckily for you, we have the next best thing to new episodes. How about an alternate timeline where Broly was sent to Earth instead of Vegeta?
Please don't do that.
So before we jump right into the events of Dragon Ball Z, let's back up to the pre-Dragon Ball age, as depicted in the Broly movie. In that film, we saw that Broly was identified as a particularly powerful Saiyan and left planet Vegeta with his father. Right after that, Frieza obliterated the planet in order to destroy any possibility of one of those mythically powerful Saiyans rising up to destroy him. Those are the events of the main timeline, but how could they change so that Broly winds up in the Frieza Force like Vegeta? Well, what if Frieza discovered Broly's power before King Vegeta did? Instead of fearing the child, perhaps he enlisted the young legendary Super Saiyan into his forces as he did in DBS Broly decades later.
If we're taking into account, Frieza would still murk Broly. If Broly as a baby, if we're taking original Broly as one to account, was just ridiculously overpowered as a baby. Frieza would absolutely murk him, even taking that into account. So that just feels out of character for Frieza at this point.
With a new super weapon at his command, Frieza would have no use for the other Saiyans and would obliterate the planet just like in the Prime timeline. At some point in the future, the prideful Prince Vegeta would want to challenge the supposed legendary Super Saiyan to prove that he was the more powerful Saiyan.
Again, how the fuck are they keeping Broly here? Bro, again, Broly would be the guy that Frieza would be scared of the most. There's no way he's living right now.
This wouldn't go his way, and Broly would utterly destroy the princely Pipsqueak, securing himself as the toughest Saiyan in the Frieza Force. Later, Raditz would be tasked with finding his brother Goku. He would attack Goku and his friends, but would ultimately lose his life thanks to a well-timed special beam cannon from Piccolo. Of course, that would only be the beginning, as Raditz would use his final breath to tell them that the legendary Broly was heading to Earth, and that they had
they're not making out of this shit alive. 50k is still enough to nuke the planet. His power was 5, I think it was 10k actually as a baby. So even regardless, Broly was overpowered as hell.
Had no hope of defeating him. The rest would go pretty much the same way as it did in the Prime timeline for a while. Goku would train with King Kai while the rest of the Z fighters trained on Earth.
It's pointless though, because they're all dead.
After the fighters think they've trained enough, 2 ships will come crashing out of the sky. Broly and Nappa land on Earth, and
does Broly give a shit about the Dragon Balls in this timeline?
Nappa once again takes the lead. Broly's rage
the main motivations of Vegeta in that timeline was to get eternal life and shit. Is Broly doing this to just get eternal life like Vegeta did? Or is there something else? What is going on right now?
Barely be contained by his collar as Nappa and the Cybermen take on the Z fighters. Of course, things would take a turn when Goku arrives triumphantly to save his friends. He takes on Nappa once again and makes quick work of him, while Broly watches in tense anticipation. Then, after Nappa has been thoroughly beaten by Goku, he will deactivate Broly's collar, allowing him to join in the fight.
Izuna in the Legacy fanfic I thought would be Madara's bio recreated by Naruto. Nope, it was Izuna Uchiha since those were his eyes, technically.
Naturally, the first thing that Broly would do is obliterate Nappa. Vegeta and Broly may be 2 very different Saiyans, but I'm pretty sure they'd see eye to eye on what to do about Nappa.
Broly was seen as a little bit more kinder than that. Also, I have a question, by the way. Where is Paragus? The guy that's probably one of the more influential figures in Broly's life for all the wrong reasons. Where the fuck is he? I don't see... Where art thou, Paragus? Paragus, Paragus, wherefore art thou, Paragus? Oh wait, I thought it was from birth. Well, Earth is more fucked than a damn prostitute. Holy shit.
Nappa's failure. Honestly, I think it's that mustache. Then it would be time for the...
You really did not have to say that. You really did not.
Fated battle between the 2 legendary Saiyans. Goku trained harder than he ever thought.
Maybe he's dead, but they never said that they killed off Paragus! They never said that at all! What are y'all doing?
Possible with King Kai. Every episode across Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z has led him to this moment of destiny where he'll fight the toughest foe of his life. Goku would activate his Kaioken times 10 and attack Broly with everything he has for Gohan, for Chi-Chi, for the planet Earth. Only for Broly to KO him in one punch to the chest that sends him flying.
At least they're getting their scaling correct.
Goku would then lie there helplessly as his friends in the armies of Earth throw everything they have.
Actually, maybe not, because, like, I feel like Goku would literally have his just, like, if Broly, like, was, like, punching, like, Goku from the Saiyan saga, oh my god.
Worthlessly at the Berserker Saiyan. Things would be deafeningly loud for a few hours and then freakishly quiet. As Broly emerges unharmed from the smoking embers of Earth's puny defenses, he looks down at Goku and smiles as he bathes the planet's best defender in green light that blasts him to dust. At this point, Frieza will realize that he may have miscalculated by bringing the insanely powerful Saiyan child into his service. Broly was tasked with bringing Frieza the Dragon Balls and conquering Earth.
Wait, but how would, like, Frieza know about them at this point? Oh my god. What? Like, Frieza didn't even, like, I don't think even, like, Frieza didn't even know about the Dragon Balls on Earth at that point. Like, he only got to, like, fucking Namek after, like, oh my god. I'm so confused. Well, no, not in the what if I'm talking about. We don't, like, know what happened to Paragus in this what if. Like, we can't find him. He's missing, like, fucking James Harden in the playoffs. I can't find him.
But he left the entire planet a cindering heap of ash and ruins while the Dragon Balls were turned to stone. Frieza would then turn his attention to planet Namek, where he would plot to use their Dragon Balls to grant him power even Broly could scarcely imagine. Meanwhile,
have these guys watched Dragon Ball? I'm being very serious right now. Like, when we could actually use parallels. Parallels would just become fucking power corrupt.
Broly would have gotten a taste for true unhinged carnage, and it would be quite difficult for him to go back to servitude. It would have taken some of the Frieza Force's best men to bring Broly back in, even with his collar causing him intense physical pain. Once he gets in that berserker state, it's nearly impossible to get him out of it. Luckily, one of the soldiers, Chile, has more success bringing him in. Instead of attacking Broly, she shows him kindness and manages.
Wait. But, like, I'm about to get a headache right now. I'm about to get a headache.
Manages to get him to calm down. He submits to the Frieza Force and is herded into a spaceship like a wild animal.
Wait.
To Chile, this treatment seems barbaric and is the last straw for her loyalty to her master. On planet Namek, Frieza makes steady work of torturing the locals into giving up the Dragon Balls. Unfortunately, they are proving to be more resilient than he'd hoped. What should have been a quick operation is turning into a true chore, as he must go from village to village watching Zarbon and Dodoria torture dozens of peasants again and again. The tedium begins to get to him when he gets an urgent message. Broly has escaped. Chile sprung Broly from his cage and even managed to remove his collar. She informs him that she thinks he's the only one who could stand a chance of defeating Frieza. If he does so, the galaxy would finally be
stand a chance? Broly would obliterate Frieza, not gonna lie. Bro, if we're being real right now, Broly would literally demolish fucking current Frieza. Like there isn't a chance that it happens. It's a certainty.
Safe at last. Broly doesn't care about the galaxy, but does care about the only person who's ever shown him kindness. He agrees to destroy Frieza once and for all. Broly arrives on Namek with Chile, where the Ginyu Force is waiting for them. They throw everything they have at Broly, but it doesn't matter. He makes short work of them after Rakum's attacks bring him into his berserker rage once again. Chile then tells Broly that they need to find the Dragon Balls before Frieza, but he ignores her. Instead, he goes after Zarbon and Dodoria, still in a craze. Chile tries in vain to get him to come around, but it's too late. They all look up and see the sky go black. Frieza summons Porunga, the Namekian dragon. He wishes for eternal life, the power to defeat Broly and to be a—
Chile low-key bad. Well, she is.
few inches taller. For some reason,
Hello,
that last
hello.
one is really important to him, even though he has several forms of varying height. Chile despairs now that it seems like Frieza has finally become all-powerful. Broly doesn't even seem to care. He attacks Frieza with all he's got, but is shocked to feel Frieza block him. The tiny warlord strikes Broly harder than anyone ever has, sending him flying back. He tries to take Frieza on, but it's no use. Frieza slaps him away like he's just a fly. Seeing that Broly is hurt, Chile screams.
Imagine Broly if he was drunk. I'm still trying to like keep up with this shit. What the fuck is going on?
Screams out for him. Frieza sees that Broly found himself a friend and starts to laugh.
Who let him get the... Oh my god, they forgot about the code! Oh my god, they forgot about the code. Oh my god. Nah, it's over. It's over. It's over. Bro, CBR is full of frauds. CBR, y'all are full of frauds. Y'all are literally like the fucking, like fucking James Harden. Y'all are like the Sixers in the playoffs. Y'all are literally frauds. Oh my god. I forgot about that because I was getting a headache. Oh my god! Oh my god. It's over. It's actually over. It's never been more over than it's been over. I can't hear nothing over my AC unit. Hey, put that AC unit on high blast, man. That shit's gonna... Hey guys, what's up, Andrew? Oh my god.
He uses his death beam to silence her as Broly watches. The anger boils in Broly harder than it ever has before. His hair changes color, and the landscape starts to shift around him. Within seconds, he's achieved Super Saiyan.
CBR is LeBron James reading a one page of a book and then saying they know the whole story? Oh no, he did not have to do LeBron like that. Oh my god. CBR, he's scorching the damn food. Who let them cook?
Dwarfing his previous power. He charges at Frieza and surprises him by hitting with a force he didn't think was possible. Frieza may have wished for the power to defeat Broly, but he didn't foresee Broly's ability to surpass his own power by such a great degree.
Wait, but like, if he has the power to defeat Broly, wouldn't he, like, would the wish just, like, stockpile up back to where Broly is now, above him? Or would it just, like, I'm a little bit confused. Also, like, why would Frieza think that he, like... Also, I don't think... I don't know, man, I don't know.
To battle like Goku and Frieza did in the Prime timeline until Namek is a shell of itself. Very near complete destruction. Broly gains the upper hand on Frieza and blasts him with an eraser cannon that seems to obliterate his entire body. Broly smiles, panting as he finally destroyed Frieza and avenged Chile. Only Frieza's laugh starts to cut through the smoke. His body reforms itself perfectly, as if he'd never been fighting at all. He mocks.
They really let this fucking thing, they just let them cook, by the way. They let them cook.
All of Broly's power.
Who let them cook? I ordered calamari, I ordered hamburgers, and I ordered fucking, and I ordered, like, a freaking, like, side of fries. They put it out, and all of that shit's charred now. All of it's charred. Who let them cook? They had, like, that fucking microwave bread. They forgot to take the tie off. They set the fucking, like, microwave on fire. Who let this company cook? I don't get it.
Since none of it matters. The stupid Saiyan was so focused on his rage that he allowed Frieza to win everything before their battle even began. Frieza, now fully healed, attacks the battered Broly until all the legendary Super Saiyan sees is darkness. Days later, Broly would awaken to find himself in a cage fit for an animal.
Why would Frieza let him live?
New collar hangs around his neck. A happy Frieza looks on at Broly with a smile. He informs him that Broly will now be Frieza's favorite pet. He makes Broly compete in gladiator-style battles for his perverse amusement. Hunters are tasked with finding monsters worthy enough to take Broly on. Frieza even sets his own brother Cooler in the arena to challenge Broly. The legendary Super Saiyan manages to take down Cooler, but is stopped before he obliterates him. This brings Frieza great joy, as he can feel his own powers growing. Because of how he worded his wish to the dragon, Frieza's powers will always just be higher than Broly's. So the more power that Broly gains in the arena,
He already got. Oh yeah, I do have that. We do have plans. Oh man, we need to discuss that shit too. Oh man, we gotta. I wonder if I got plans. That's a fun series to work on.
the more Frieza becomes truly unstoppable. Meanwhile, Frieza has his sights set on something higher than galactic conquest. Since his powers have grown, he's decided that he would like to be the new god of destruction, overtaking Lord Beerus.
I don't think he can take that title.
He challenges Beerus to a fight, confident that he would be able to take Beerus down. Much to Whis' surprise, the Golden Frieza actually manages to overpower Beerus. His access to legendary Super Saiyan power levels plus his own natural abilities has granted him the power.
Oh, y'all talking about bro? Wait, I'm talking about what if Naruto was the wild card? It's a Persona thing. It's a Persona thing.
To even overtake Universe 7's God of Destruction. With Beerus out of the picture, Frieza takes his place at Whis' side as a god. He begins an even greater rampage across the galaxy, obliterating the Galactic Patrol and any other beings who displease him. Even this isn't enough, though. Jealous of the other universes Whis has told him about, Frieza conspires to push Zeno into creating a tournament of power to
What?
the Galactic Patrol, able to take Beerus down. Much
Frieza would get Hakkai'd. What? Frieza would get fucking Hakkai'd.
to Whis' surprise, the Golden Frieza actually manages to overpower Beerus. His access to legendary Super Saiyan power levels plus his own natural abilities has granted him the power to even overtake Universe 7's God of Destruction.
You can't like. Can someone help me here? Am I going crazy?
With Beerus out of the picture, Frieza takes his place at Whis' side as a god. He begins an even greater rampage across the galaxy, obliterating the Galactic Patrol and any other beings who displease him. Even this isn't enough, though. Jealous of the other universes Whis has told him about, Frieza conspires to push Zeno into creating a tournament of power to obliterate all his competition.
Pushes Zeno? Bro, Zeno would blink at him and he'd fucking die. What?
He has supreme confidence that his Broly would be able to destroy any warrior from any other world. He tells Broly about the tournament, and much to his shock, Broly seems excited about the idea. He begins to train every day in his cell with a single-minded focus. Frieza even feels himself get more.
Where is Paragus? I can't find him. He's his gone. Bro, we can't find Paragus. He's missing like fucking Klay Thompson in the playoffs. Where the fuck is Paragus?
More powerful as Broly's power level expands more and more. Whatever's motivating Broly has reawakened his focus and rage. Once the tournament begins, it's clear that Frieza's confidence in Broly was well-founded.
Why is he still alive?
Team Universe 7 includes Broly, King Cold, Cooler, Captain Ginyu, and several other members of the Frieza Force.
Wow, look at what we got here. Fucking Broly, Cooler. Bro, we go from a massive, like, powerhouse in Broly to, like, fucking downgrades. Like, what?
Most of the team fails to hold up against the serious competition, but Broly more than makes up for it. He even goes up against another legendary Super Saiyan but manages to defeat her. Frieza laughs at every single universe that's destroyed by his team. Every one of them who gets taken out of the tournament, Frieza destroys, including his own father. As the tournament rages on, eventually all have been defeated, except Broly, Jiren, and Golden Cooler. Broly and Jiren seem evenly matched, while
Golden Cooler. Let's just finish this shit, man. Let's just finish this shit.
Cooler gives Team Universe 7 just enough of an edge to seem like the favorites to win. As the two push Jiren close to the edge, Broly smiles at Cooler. He releases Jiren and charges towards his teammate. He pushes Cooler and himself out of the arena. Frieza looks at Cooler and Broly in horror as they appear beside him. He goes to destroy Broly with a death beam, but it's too late. Zeno erases all of them from existence.
Oh my god, bro. At least they got this shit right.
And Broly finally has his revenge.
Wait a minute. What?
Broly and Jiren seem evenly matched, while Cooler gives Team Universe 7 just enough of an edge to seem like the favorites to win. As the two push Jiren close to the edge, Broly smiles at Cooler. He releases Jiren and charges towards his teammate. He pushes Cooler and himself out of the arena. Frieza looks at Cooler and Broly in horror as they appear beside him. He goes to destroy Broly with a death beam, but it's too late. Zeno erases all of them from existence. And Broly finally has his revenge. And
Oh my fucking god. What is the, like, motivation? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I actually don't understand what these people are smoking right now. That was actually really bad. Bro, Paragus was, like, gone for, like, the entirety of the What If. Like, that's actually crazy. Also, crazy shit. Today's Discord's birthday, apparently. I really don't care. I'm in shock about, like, how bad that was. That was actually beyond bad. Although, I don't think it's as bad as, like, what if Vegeta been sent to Earth and Goku was the prince? That was all over the place. That one had a concrete story, but was actually off. The first video that we watched was just, like, unbelievably bad, considering, like, what they're trying to... Unbelievably bad because it just kept jumping to random points with little explanation. You know what I'm saying? Sage, can you read the comments in her video? I'm curious. I'm actually curious about that one. Who wants to see... This sounds... The top comment has, like, 1 like. This sounds like a very well thought out hypothetical. Hi came from 3 months from into the future to say this is ass. That is all. Never disappointed when it... Bro, these have gotta be bots. What? There's no way. Nice story. I love the... This scenario was Bro, there's no way. The top comments are like 1 like. Are y'all serious right now? And by the way, the top, like, really? Did Buddy just call? No. No, they did not. No, they did not. I refuse. I'm not looking back for that. I'm not looking back for that. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. I'm about to get a headache by this. This is so inaccurate. Goku's still been able to beat Broly because of his... No, that wouldn't have happened. But, like, a lot of shit just doesn't work or make any sense, especially with the absence of Paragos. Main character powers just does not work, considering the fact that Broly is just, like, unbelievably stronger than than Goku, so you would have to, like, make Goku, like, reach the unbelievable strength that Broly was at, which just does not work. The main problems with this What If are that Frieza just feels out of character, him taking on Beerus is just wrong, and just, like, I feel like Zeno would just, like, obliterate him on the spot. Not gonna lie. I don't know. There's just so many problems with this What If to me, and I feel like I haven't hit on all of them. I don't know if I've even hit on all of the problems, to be honest. I need to fix my, I need fix my brain cells for a second. Yeah, I'll watch you know what, I'll watch a Peach Shell video to just, like, fix my brain cells for a bit. I can't do another one. I can't do another one. If we're doing it, I'll make this the last video for today. It'll be probably a little bit over, like, the expected amount, but, like, the expected time slot, but, like, I don't care. I need something to, like, fix my brain cells.
Let's talk about Gen 2. Let's just talk about it. Now, am I saying
Also, where the fuck is that's an I don't
am I saying that people that like Gen 2 all beat their children? No, that's not what I'm saying. I would never imply such a thing. I would never say something like that.
I feel Frieza could hypothetically beat Beerus, but then again, we haven't seen his full power for either of them. So, like, we're at that point just, like, making fucking assumptions, and I still just feel like none of that would actually work.
Never say something like that, okay? That's a horrendous thing to say. All right, I just want to make that clear. All right, just want to make that clear. However, I will be trying to make a case for why I personally think that Gen 2 sucks ass. Okay, and I'd like to split this into two parts, kind of. Okay, I think there's two core issues with Pokemon Gen 2 that probably stem from the same.
Let's take a guess as to what those two core issues are. Let's take a guess. I'm gonna lie. I haven't seen this video in a little bit, but I kind of will understand a little bit of the points here. Here's the thing about like what I think about Pokemon Gen 2. It is they are fine games, particularly Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but original Gen 2, I would argue, is really not fun at all. In comparison to, like, other Pokemon games out there, they're just not as good. Yeah, you have the ability to, like, fight right and shit, but, like, the level curve that you have in the game just does not really help you a lot. And I feel like they're very carried heavily by nostalgia. Now, I'm not going to say they're, like, absolutely terrible Pokemon games, but they have a lot of problems in comparison to other Pokemon generations. Even in comparison to, like, let's say even Gen 8.
Problem that I think you can categorize all the smaller problems that Gen 2 had.
I mentioned Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but like this is just gonna be talking about like Gen 2. But Heart Gold and Soul Silver are kind of like don't really change that much from the original Gen 2 games, besides like adding more of the Crystal storylines. But that's again a discussion for another day. Although they didn't have you like catch Suicune at the at the tower on like original unlike original Crystal, but they had you catch it in Cerulean. Again, that's a discussion for another day.
As is too. I won't be going into like bugs, all the Apricorn Bowl.
Gita versus Lance, who wins? I'd say Gita. Some of the Pokemon she has are pretty old. Actually, you know, it might be Lance actually. I don't think that Gita's team is like terrible, but like a lot. But she has a lot of problems with some of her movesets and shit. And I feel like Lance just has a bit more of an advantage, although he does have a common weakness to like rock and shit. But then again, her ace is Glamora, which I don't think is really fit to be an ace at all. I would say that King Gambit fits that a lot more. And
balls not working properly, and Pokemon having status conditions not like that not bringing up your catch rate. Fuck that shit. I don't care. Every Pokemon game has dumb shit like that, right? I think all the mechanical bugs and stuff is I don't really care about that. Most old Pokemon games are fucking broken, right? What I will talk about though is the core two issues of pacing and Pokemon, like actual Pokemon in the game.
Pacing is definitely a bit of a problem with like with the original, with some of Gen 2. I also probably would argue that it has the worst story in the franchise, actually. Besides maybe, like, I think it's the worst story. I feel like it's a competition between, like, Gen 8 story and Gen 2. But there's a decent argument for both. Who was, like, but I feel like at least Gen 8 had a defined villain, while Gen 2 had Team Rocket, who were, like, running around Johto with their head cut off. Is Sage going to play Tears of the Kingdom? I have yet to buy that game yet. How about Pokemon Encounter pools? With Gen 2, you had with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you had access to Gen 4 evolutions, but not all of them. So you didn't have access to Pokemon like Togekiss, but you had access to like shit like Mamoswine, which kind of made Piloswine a lot more useful in that regard. But you also didn't have access to Pokemon like Gliscor or Weavile until I believe post game either. So it's a mixed bag with like how like Gen 4 the Heart Gold and Soul Silver remakes. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are as like remakes because like they don't do enough like outside of the box to kind of like change what the original Gen 2 story, but they do certain things, I guess. And they also, but I feel like post game for Heart Gold and Soul Silver is a lot better in comparison to Gen 2s though, because they actually allow you to catch legendary Pokemon. And in the second post game you also get to catch Groudon and Kyogre, so it definitely goes off the rails from like being traditional Gen 2 because of the updated Pokemon pools.
I think all problems with Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or with Gold and Silver, and also Crystal, can be put into these broad categories. I'll be talking about the remakes a little bit, but I'll mainly be focusing on Gold and Silver and why I don't like them. Let's talk
So this is again focusing on Gold and Silver. So we're not talking about Heart Gold and Soul Silver here. Okay.
about the Pokemon, okay? Let's talk about the Pokemon. Let's just talk about them, all right? Let's just talk about them. So, Gen 2 came out, right? We had 151 wonderful Pokemon. Some of them weak, some of them strong, some of them iconic, some of them garbage, some of them interesting. We had, like, Seal being a literal seal with only one of its letters replaced.
I hate Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, man. I hate them. Sun and Moon story is a lot better in comparison. I do not like what they did with Flash. I feel like that story had, like, even with it being, like, a bit of an alternate universe, I guess, to, like, Sun and Moon. I did not like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I don't like those games.
Whatever. I'll forgive that. We had Dugtrio literally being 3 Diglett and fucking Magneton being the same idea. It's whatever. They suck, but that's okay. Now, the problem with Gen 2, I think, is twofold with just the Pokemon themselves. I think, for one, I think a lot of the designs are just genuinely very ugly. Now, this is very subjective, but
I would probably be a guy to disagree with that. I don't think a lot of the Pokemon designs are ugly at all. Lantern has a really good design. Quagsire is, like, iconically derpy. Ariados is not a badly designed Pokemon. Furret isn't either. Even, like, Pokemon like Meganium, Typhlosion, Feraligatr, they have really good designs as well. I don't think that it's, like, really, like, a good thing to, like, I would highly disagree that they have, like, the worst designs of the franchise. I would make the argument, though, that maybe that Gen 2's Mons, in comparison, aren't as well designed in comparison to other past generations, but I would not call them ugly.
But this is part of the reason I don't like the game, right? Which is the whole point of this video. The other problem, though, that I think we can make more of a case for is that the Gen 2 Dex is weak as fuck.
That is something I will agree with. There are a lot of really bad Gen 2 Mons.
Okay? And this leads to some very fundamental broken problems with Gen 2 down the line when we talk about pacing later, all right? This leads to some extremely fundamental problems. But let's just go down here. And remember, this is before abilities, this is before the physical special split, and this is before a bunch of these got evolutions, okay?
So we're taking into account, so again, we know that, like, the Pokemon, like, nowadays, like, let's say Gligar are a lot more useful now because they evolve in, like, Gliscor or Season and Weavile, but that's not what we're going to be taking into account here at all. We have to take into account when they were released, and, if you're, like, taking the Pokemon their base evolutions, they're really fucking bad.
Okay? We'll talk about the starters in a minute. Furret.
Infernape is the best starter Pokemon line change. Pokemon line changed my mind. I'm not going to do that, but I would say that Typhlosion's better. Just
why
my
is it
opinion.
so slow? Noctowl, why is it so slow?
Slow. Noctowl is hella slow. Honestly, out of the birds, the regional birds, I do not want to use any of. I want to use Noctowl the least. You know how, like, you want to know what the first Pokemon I pick up from, like, Gen 4 is? A fucking Staraptor. You want to know what the first Pokemon I pick up off of a Gen 6 playthrough, by the way? A fucking Talonflame. Those are awesome ass regional birds. You want to know what's the first bird I would pick up from a freaking Gen free playthrough? Swallow. Those are badass birds that are just awesome. Noctowl is the worst out of the bunch. Besides, like, Unpheasant, I would not. Noctowl is one of the mons I would pick the least.
Ledian, why is it so complete garbage?
Ledian is bad. I don't know what they were thinking with Ledian either. Ledian has really bad stats, and it's just completely just, like, on another level of garbage. And it has, like, really good moves. It has some decent moves and shit, but it can't take advantage of it because it has a very low attack stat, which is weird. And also, by the way, this thing has fists and shit. Why is this thing bug flying? It should be bug fighting or something. What the fuck are y'all doing?
Why does it have, like, no attack? There's, like, rumors that its special defense and attack got swapped. Why is Spinarak so ugly? I think it's a fan design, right? Why is Ariados complete garbage?
Ariados is, like, a very fun design Pokemon for me, but I really will be the first to acknowledge of how bad it is, too. It's not a fun. So, like, so far, the only mons that you're relatively using are 2 out of the 3 stars, which I will probably get to fucking Meganium in a second.
Why is it complete trash? Why is it so slow? Why doesn't it do anything? This should be an impressive and good Pokemon. Crobat, fantastic.
Crobat's awesome, but it's an evolution of like a Gen 1 Pokemon in Golbat. So like it's not even its own unique line. It's just an evolution of fucking Golbat.
Fantastic. Love the Lantern line.
Lantern's awesome too. Gotta give Gen 2 that point.
Our friendship evolutions suck. And then a bunch of baby Pokemon that nobody cares about. Togetic,
Togetic at the time, by the way, was like normal flying, and it was really fucking bad too. Oh my god, I really hate to... Bro, you wanna know what, like, every single time I see gold with a fucking Togetic on the team, I'm like, yuck. Especially considering the fact that the guy literally got a fucking Dratini with extreme speed in the Crystal version. And also Harkle and Soul Silver, so like, that's a big yuck for me.
it's fucking horrible. Xatu, pretty okay, but kind of...
Xatu was a fun competitive mon for quite a while, to be honest, especially with like Magic Bounce, but like Xatu by itself at the time, I don't know how good it was.
Iffy to use. Ampharos is on everyone's team.
I love that we finally got Annihilate after 9 generations. Probably deserved an evolution. It was fucking garbage. And Annihilate was just a game changer because of how awesome it is. I really like Annihilate.
Great Pokemon. And then there's like Blossom, which like I think Sunstone is either like a really hard reward in the bug catching contest or like post game, right? Meryl can first be found in like...
Meryl at the time was absolute dog shit, and so was Azumarill. Nowadays it's good because of huge power, but at the time, Meryl was absolute garbage. So, like, I don't know what the hell they're thinking, but thank God they introduced abilities, because otherwise Meryl and Azumarill would just be completely useless up to this day. But nowadays, Azumarill is just, like, an awesome mon to have, and nowadays, especially now that it has a fairy type as well. Water Fairy is awesome. Blossom not having, like, being a very hard, like, evolution to acquire is bad.
In like Mount Mortar, and Azumarill fucking sucks. It got better every gen, but back in Gen 2, this was just a very, very...
I love Chikorita and Bayleaf, Meganium is mint, but dear God, is that evolution line more ass than the Megan Thee Stallion video. Man, I hate Meganium, man. It is such a bad starter in comparison to, like, Typhlosion and Feraligatr. There's just no reason for anyone to ever use those mons. There's just none.
Generic, terrible water type, right? Where the evolution did, like, nothing for it either. Sudowoodo...
Best non-Area Zero mon right now? I'm a big fan of Gold. I'm a big fan of like shit like Baxcalibur and Goldango, to be honest.
Cool design. Politoed, fucking trait evolution.
Politoed has been as since its inception, except for one format in Gen 5, and except which in OU because of the fucking Weather Wars.
That nobody asked for and nobody gave a fuck about until it got Drizzle. Hoppip garbage. Apom.
Jumpluff is really bad. I will never use that shit in a playthrough. Grass types in general are bad in Gen 2, but because like there are not a lot of advantages grass types have besides I guess like maybe the Vileplume line, but that's like again like only concern that you get a fucking Vileplume and not fucking garbage that's or like Blossom. Like, but Jumpluff is garbage. It's how in the fuck is Jumpluff so bad? I have to know.
What the fuck? Why does this not have an evolution in this game?
Apom also was really bad. Not having evolution for Apom was just not a good decision, considering like how mediocre its stats were.
This thing is complete trash. Sunkern, iconic trash.
Typing weaknesses, like not only is it a pure grass, it is not. I don't think Meganium has a really great moveset either. And, like, you're primarily using it as a defensive mon, but, like, usually, like, the best starters in any game are just, like, those high-octane offensive-type mons. Especially in any playthrough. Like, I don't know, man.
Alright. Yanma.
Yanma was probably slightly decent at the time. Got better if you had Mega, though. But, like, it probably needed an evolution at that time, too.
Again, how does this not have an evolution? Okay. Quagsire, great.
Espeon and Umbreon,
great. How...
But they're evolutions from fucking Eevee. So you need fucking Gen 1 to help carry this, like, middling pool of Pokemon.
However, Eevee, you know, already existed. Murkrow, cool idea, little bit weak.
Murkrow wasn't that bad at the time, though. I'll say that. Murkrow wasn't too bad. It did have an evolution, but it wasn't that bad. It's also it helped that it had fucking 91 speed.
Only available in the post game. So
Oh yeah, that was also bad. That was bad too. Why the fuck they had like certain Gen 2 mons in the post game was a bad decision too.
King evolution of an existing Pokemon. Misdreavus.
Slowking's awesome, but yeah, no. Misdreavus, can't find that shit until post game. So like we have like Misdreavus, Murkrow, and the Houndour and Larvitar lines. Can't find that shit until post game. Why? Don't ask me.
Only available in like Mount Silver, and honestly, for being the only ghost type that they introduced in this gen, not good. There was only one line of ghost types in the entirety of Gen 1, and they introduced this as the only other ghost type. There's no cool ghost types. They had
I really wish Meganium got one of those futuristic versions in Gen 9 since I saw a really cool design for it. How good would Meganium be though as a futuristic version is my question, because it would have to depend on the typing and shit.
to give this an evolution to make this cool later on. Unknown, worst Pokemon of all time, completely. This had so much potential and they completely shoved it out the window. They didn't give a fuck about this Pokemon. There was so much cool shit to do with this. And
Unknown is just so bad. Bro, the Ruins of Alpha are like the biggest waste of time I have ever seen in a fucking Pokemon game. Can I just, like, say that? Like, trying to catch all those Unknown, you just, like, put in all your heart and soul into that shit, and you get nothing out of that. In Gen 2, I'm sorry, not Gen 2. In the Gen 4 remakes, you got, or Gen 2 remakes, I guess. You got, like, fucking, you got, like, at least, a fucking Arceus event, but at the time, nothing!
nobody cared.
I didn't watch any Pokemon, not even the OG Indigo League, so I made her rewatch it, and now I'm re-obsessed with it. Yo, nice.
Unusable. Not only is it unusable, it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting design. You could have like a swarm of Unknown or some shit. But this is just garbage. Just garbage, right? Wobbuffet, cool idea.
Wobbuffet's fun. Wobbuffet can be fun to use, but it's like also really frustrating in Nuzlocke because it has fucking Shadow Tag. You gotta worry about what moves you're gonna use on it, and if it uses Destiny Bond, you're kind of screwed.
A little bit better with Shadow Tag. Cool idea for a Pokemon, gotta admit though. But like, and then you have like Girafarig, which
just got an evolution, by the way, in Gen 9 for Farigiraf.
is like okay. It's like an interesting idea and everything, but none of these are like okay. Fortress was pretty garbage back then. Let's be.
Fortress was, yeah, no, it was really bad in comparison to Scizor.
Real, although Steel Bug is a great typing. What the fuck is Dunsparce? Like, Gligar, complete garbage back then, despite having an amazing typing, gets like no moves.
Not really. Gligar, I think at the time was actually like OU. I have got to double check this actually real quick. No, it was okay. It wasn't OU, but it was UU actually. So like, no, that was so no, it was actually a UU mon. So it actually wasn't terrible.
Steelix is cool, but again, new evolution. Granbull,
actually, no, wait. This is before Showdowns was a thing, so it probably wasn't that great at the time.
Again, why are all these Pokemon so slow and unusable, dude? Quillfish? We had like a water poison.
Just got over Quill, by the way. Hopefully that's coming to fucking Scarlet and Violet soon.
Give us some cool new shit. Scizor is great, but again, an evolution. Shuckle is like a joke Pokemon.
Don't fuckle with Shuckle. Shuckle can be awesome.
It's a meme to use in competitive, but like actually using this for a real playthrough is like impossible. Heracross is cool, but gets like no good moves.
I'm gonna catch all these streams now. Nice.
Sneasel was a cool idea, but gets completely fucked by the fact that both Dark and Ice are special types.
Yep, and by the way, if you guys don't remember, Gen 2 did not have a physical special split, so like, you know what that means? Sneasel, despite having a high physical attack, only gets moves that do special damage and use its weak-ass special attack, so it is a garbage-ass mon too.
Teddy Ursa line is okay, again, really slow, and also only available in post-game. Slugma, one of the...
I gotta double-check that real quick. I don't think that was the case for Heart and Soul Silver, which kind of fixed a bit of the issues with, Gen 2. Route 45. Route 45 Gen 2. No, Teddy Ursa was available before post game, so I don't think he's correct there. It's like one of the few things he's gotten wrong here. But it was also like it was exclusively it's a version exclusive. So like you're kind of screwed a little bit, not gonna lie. Although I would have a bit of an issue with like the level curve and shit.
The only
what's
other
up,
fire
Outlaw?
types introduced here, super garbage and also only available post game. Swine Up, Pillow Swine are
Swine and Palswine were like yuck. Mammoth Swine's awesome.
okay, I guess. They're just like hairy pigs. I don't know. Corsola is garbage. Remoraid is garbage. Delibird got completely shafted. What a complete joke. Oh,
Present is like the worst move of all time. Not joking about.
Teddy Ursa's available after Gym 8. Sorry. Ooh, okay. Oof. Thank God, huh? Houndor, really cool. Only available.
Alright, you announced that. Skarmory was like available in fucking on Route 45 too. But guess what the problem with that is? Well, guess what the problem with that? Literally, you have to grind up. If you want to use this fucking bird, you have to like grind the shit out of it with these garbage ass level curves. Like, holy shit, man. What the fuck were they thinking?
In the post game. Why? Kingdra's pretty cool. Trade evolution though. Donphan's okay, gets like no good ground type moves. Porygon 2 I guess is okay. Stantler is completely like bland and useless. Smeargle is very interesting and very cool, but like super hard to utilize, but I'm actually a fan. Hitmontop before I got intimidated was completely garbage.
It was. The only reason that people even use Hitmontop is because it has Intimidate, but that's about it.
More fucking uninteresting baby Pokemon that nobody cared about.
Miltank
is okay. I guess, but it's kind of like a Tauros. It's a little bit more bulky. Why did Chansey get an evolution? Out of all the Pokemon, why did Chansey get an evolution? Chansey was already ridiculous. Like, Chansey was one of the best Pokemon in Gen 1. Raikou, Entei, Suicune, fine. Entei completely useless, though. Why? Why did it got shafted like that? Tyranitar
It really
cool,
got...
also only available post-game.
Tyranitar available post-game. Bro, it's so annoying that you can't even, like, access a bunch of these, like, awesome Pokemon until fucking post-game. Like, what the fuck were they thinking with that shit?
Cool legendary, Celebi cool legendary. I guess. Kind of bland, though. So, like, I just feel like there's no, like, when you start... Like you've played Gen 1 and you move on to Gen 2, what Pokemon in your playthrough is there to get excited about that's not also here, except for maybe your starter, which...
Feraligatr and Typhlosion are, like, the only two stars worth getting, like, excited for to me. The game is garbage.
We're going to talk about Ampharos or Lantern? What's there to get hyped about when you start a new game file?
Oh, yeah, by the way, in Crystal, you can't even use fucking Ampharos unless you go out of your way to get it.
Gold, Silver, Crystal. There's just not enough. And the problem is that this expands outward into like a really big problem in Gen 2 in general, where everyone who plays through the game basically has a starter, an Ampharos, and a shiny Gyarados on their playthrough.
Yep.
Because it's not worth adding any of these dog shit Pokemon to your team. And even if it was, you catch them at like level 20. Like, let's look at like, oh my god, Blackthorn City, right? I misspelled it. And let's go south. This is the 8th gym town, okay? Let's go south from here. Route 45. Okay? Let's what levels are the Pokemon here?
20s! They're in the 20s. This fight you having to fight Claire, who was like in the 40s and shit. Like,
I can pick up a level 23 Geodude. This is the 8th gym for the level 40 gym. Like, and that leads into another problem of like the level curve in this game in general. Like, a lot.
Also, the fishing routes only results in level 10 mines? Are you like serious?
A lot of trainers have like ridiculously weak Pokemon. The level curve has to be purposefully held down to keep up with like the level 40 up to level 50 Elite Four, and because half of the game is in the other half, and it sucks, and it's open world. And like the problem is because of, and we can talk about Kanto later, and I'm kind of losing track of like the Pokemon problem here. So we're gonna talk about this in a bit. But the fact that these Pokemon are all so weak compared to other games when you're at the 8th gym is ridiculous. We'll talk about non-linearity in general in a second. Real quick, the starters. What the fuck was the localization team thinking with this Feraligatr name? This is such a beautiful.
This is something they got wrong here. So, like, the problem with, like, Feraligatr at the time was that they had to, like, is that at the time, the the amount of characters you could fit in a name on the Game Boy Color or Game Boy at the time was like 10 characters. Game kind of fixed this one because at 1, 2, 3, 4 Mega, Nium at 8. Typhlosion was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Typhla, and then Ocean. That's like 10. So like they were but Feraligatr has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 5 already. IGATR.
Beautiful analogy.
And then but they couldn't put in the E because of like the restrictions on the Game Boy at the time. So that's like I don't think you can really give too much crap to them for that because they couldn't fit it on the Game Boy.
For everything that's wrong with Gen 2. Everything's just fucking crammed into the game because they didn't have fucking time to polish it like they did with other games. And so Feraligatr ended up with no fucking real name. What the fuck is this? Getter? There's no O or anything here? There's legit no vowel between this T and R because they couldn't make the fucking name fit. Like, how fucking embarrassing is that? Typhlosion? You might think, hey, that's a pretty cool Pokemon, right? That's a pretty sick Pokemon. That's a pretty cool Pokemon, right? Pretty cool, right? Pretty interesting. Like, that's interesting. It has 109 special attack. That's weird. That's pretty quirky, right? That's pretty quirky. I wonder what, that's pretty
I know, like, I know what he's gonna bring up, by the way. I know what he's gonna bring up.
unique. I wonder what, how much special attack Charizard has. Let's see. Interesting. It also has 109. That's weird. It's almost like when I switch between these pages, none of the...
This is why I always, like, assumed that, like, fucking, like, Goals can start as, like, Typhlosion. There's just no way. Y'all ever heard of the games X and Y? X and Y had a lot of problems too, but I feel like but the level curve and shit was just like not really like as bad as like it was in like Gen 2. The problem though is that they were way too fucking easy.
None of the stats actually changed. That's a weird coincidence. There's no way they also did this for the pre-evolutions, dude, right? There's no way that the entire evolution line would have the same base stats, right?
Holy
There's
shit.
no way they would do that, right? There's no fucking way that they would do that.
Hey, what's up, Axel Boost?
Like, there's no fucking way.
Pick Hemo 7.
That's insane. They literally control V'd this. They were so obsessed with getting Kanto back into this game that they copied the starter. Actually,
Well, the thing is that this is supposed to be like a continuation of Kanto, not like its own thing. I do think that it's a bit of an issue, but I feel like it's not really a good idea to like kind of criticize Gen 2 for what it was supposed to be at the time here. I feel like it's because again, these were supposed to be the last Pokemon games at the time. Now, honestly though, if this was the end of Pokemon, that's a plot twist of it. That's something that has to be discussed for another time. Because again, these were supposed to be the last Pokemon games for a lot of the series. That's why you fought Red at the end.
actually insane. Another problem, and this kind of ties back to the
Most Pokemon's gym leaders didn't even have full movesets. Same thing that was a similar problem with like Red and Blue, I think too. But like, yeah, no, I agree.
Pokemon in this game just fucking being bad. Why do like almost none of the gym leaders have Gen 2 Pokemon as their aces? Right? Faulkner has a Pidgeotto. Why doesn't he have a Noctowl? If you're gonna cheat the evolution anyway. Bugsy has no bug Pokemon. Morty only has fucking Ghastly. That's the problem, right? You introduce Mischievous, and it sucks, so you can't give it to Morty, so he has to have the Gengar line, right? Chuck doesn't have Hitmontop or anything. Chuck doesn't have a Heracross. He has a fucking Poliwrath. And then even Claire, the final gym leader, okay, she does have Kingdra, but like, it's still based on fucking Gen 1 Mons. Like, it feels like Why doesn't Bugsy have like an Ariados? Because it sucks. Why does Ariados suck? Like, these problems tie into each other so much, right? Like, Gen 2 Pokemon are just too bad, so they're not worth being gym leader aces. Like, that's how bad this fucking generation is. And this ties into, I think, the pacing problems of Gen 2, right?
Venusaur.
A lot of trainers are weak as shit. Even some gym leaders are weak as shit. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about non-linearity, right? And you might be noticing the air quotes in that. And I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. So after you get past like Morty, right? The linear path of the game stops, right? You can backtrack a little bit. And the game opens up a lot, right? You can go east here. You can go west, right? You can do the entire like Cianwood shit. You can do Chuck, right? You can do the quest here. Get the potion. Do Jasmine.
The main problem with this though is that the levels do not scale. So when you so if you face out against like Price, who's supposed to be like the 7th gym leader, but also gonna be the 5th gym leader, his Pokemon are just like under leveled as hell, which is just like stupid. And also, and then another main problem is the fact that like you're going backwards regardless. I don't know why they had to like I don't know why they locked the first. I don't know why they did this like linear path without like properly scaling the Pokemon for that shit. But that just comes back to like how like limited gen the Game Boy Color hardware was, and how like desperate and how like and the problems in production were.
Or you can go east here, do like Red Gyarados shit or whatever. Gen 1 had this problem too, where like this, so people call this non-linear, and I don't think that's true. Yeah, you can even kind of go to Lake of Rage before Morty, yeah. The thing with, you have to still beat every gym leader every time you beat this game, right? So I don't think it's really non-linear. It's just choosing one of many linear paths. And I stole this point from an H-Bomber Guy video about Dark Souls, but there is a difference between these two things. If you have to do each gym badge every single time, that means the gym leaders have to be balanced in a way where you can do them in any order, right? And that means that necessarily they're not going to be as strong as they could be. That's just a fact. Like, you can't, if Price was always the 7th gym leader, you could make him more powerful. But if you want the player to beat him first, to be able to beat him first, you need to like make that gym leader weaker. And as a result, all the gym leaders are just going to be weaker. And that's a problem. I think that's a problem. And it makes the overall structure of the game fall apart. Because the optimal way to play it becomes like very boring. I'm very glad Nintendo has stepped away from this. Branching off routes are cool, but I think there needs to be a set order in which you do certain story elements, like there is in Gen 4 or Gen 5. I think Gen 4 has some open elements, but it's not as bad. Like I think Maylene and Wake can be done in any order, right? And then like after you beat Price, right? So Price, his ace is level 31. 31.
Oh my god.
Jasmine, 35. Okay. Chuck, 30, right? So the problem here is obviously it's intended to do Jasmine after these two, but that doesn't really make sense with how the map is set up. Because I would say most players do, I feel like most players do the western portion first, and then do the eastern portion. And another pacing problem becomes here, and we're going to talk about this. This is going to lead into us talking about the story. And the problem
Pokemon
is
came in
story in this game involving like Team Rocket or your rival I
don't know, man. I want to do more of a difficulty hack, to be honest, if I'm doing a Nuzlocke.
So fucking boring. I'm sorry. Both the event in Goldenrod and the Rocket Hideout in Mahogany are fucking boring. There's like too many fights, too many mandatory fights. I haven't even talked about like people complain about Gen 4, but dude, Gen 2 HP bars? First of all, they're ugly as shit, right? But second of all, those motherfuckers are slow as fuck. Dude, Gen 2 battles are very slow. Very, very slow. And the problem is, the only connection we have to Team Rocket is, okay, they're threatening the cute Slowpokes down here, and we know them from Gen 1, and they did some bad shit there. It's just like an ominous organization where you never even have like a real leader that you fight or anything. And it's just spamming at a bunch of Rocket grunts until they're all dead. And then there's like like some mini bosses from some admins that are like not worth anything. And then you go to Goldenrod and you beat them and you're done. The problem with Gen 2's story is that there's no build-up and no climax because everything had to be crammed into this fucking open, non-linear bullshit. And then you beat Claire, and then there's like oh, look, you can go to Kanto now. By the way, there's like another rocket here, but it doesn't really matter. But there's a little quest you can do with it, but there's like no boss or climax or anything. The final rocket that you fight in this game is just some random dude on fucking Nugget Bridge. And I understand that after this, they went much heavier on the story in Pokemon games, which can have its issues, right? And I'm not saying that like Gen 2, that like stories are great. But the thing with a story is that there is, from Gen 3 onwards, there is this feeling of like build up and climax and like strong progression, right? And I think one of the core issues with Johto's pacing in particular, but we can talk about Kanto in a second, is that there is no feeling of strong progression in this game, and it's a huge issue. When you beat Team Rocket and Goldenrod, you feel like you've accomplished something because you've spammed through a bunch of trainers, but you haven't actually really like solved anything. Team Rocket could come back, and they do, and it doesn't even feel like you've had a huge impact, right? Actually, let's do a test in chat. I'm gonna ask you guys 2 questions, okay? Question number 1. What is Team Aqua's goal? I'm gonna ask you guys 3 questions. Question number 1. What's Team Aqua's goal in Ruby and Sapphire? What's their end goal? What do they want to do? Expand the sea, flood the earth. Beautiful. Question number 2. What is Team Plasma's official stated goal in Pokemon Black and White? Liberate Pokemon. Fantastic. Question number 3. What is Team Rocket's end goal in Pokemon Gold and Silver? Bring back Giovanni. Very good. So what happens at the climax? What happens at the climax of Gen 3? They flood the earth. What happens at the climax of Gen 5? They're about to set all the Pokemon free. What happens at the climax of Gold and Silver that directly connects to Team Rocket's stated goal of the game?
They beg for Giovanni to come back.
They want Giovanni to notice them. There is, and this is why the
why couldn't they have just brought back Giovanni for that final battle, though, is my question. That just makes no sense at all.
The sense of story in this game suffers. And we can also talk about how the rival is a fucking edgelord, but I don't really care about that much. I think he's a better rival than all the fucking I'm your friend fuckers in later games. I think that's fine. But people talk about how Gen 4 is like a slow generation, but man, Gen 2's pacing, I feel like slows it down so much. All the dungeons are fucking boring, and you have to walk through most of them until you get the bike. You get phone calls all the fucking time that are annoying as shit, and there's no way to turn them off. HP bars are also slow as fuck. Like, it's all the dungeons are like the same too. It's all just like caves. None of them really feel different, except for maybe at the end when you get to the top of Mount Silver. And Heart Gold Soul Silver fixes this a little bit. Ice Path is like okay, although it's starting this trend of having like an excuse for an ice area in your fucking games instead of an actual ice area. But whatever, that's fine. These are some minor things. Let's talk about Kanto, right? Because I think this is going to tie a lot of these problems together. Now, I haven't done too much research in this. I think when Gen 2 was developed, from what I've read, and you feel free to correct me on this if I'm wrong, but when they were developing
Team
Gen
Magma's
2 Pokemon,
goal,
they were expecting it to be like the last generation, and that they wouldn't make any more games.
Wasn't Team Magma's goal global warming, or is this something else?
Games after that, and that the fucking Pokemon craze would be over or whatever, right? And I think a result of that, and this is like pure conjecture by me, but it feels like from the game and the things that we've pointed out, like Feraligator's name, Typhlosion stats, and like the story and everything, the games feel very rushed and very crammed and very hastily put together. I feel like they tried to rush this game out to make money with it as quickly as possible and cash in with it. And part of the reason I think that is also the way that Kanto was included, because they really wanted to harken back to this. A lot of people talk about this and defend the idea of the way Kanto was implemented in this game by, yeah, this was the last Pokemon game and they wanted to celebrate Kanto and whatever, and like that's the problem. You're just explaining how this problem came to be, but that doesn't excuse it, right? That doesn't make Gen 2 Kanto any more uninteresting, boring, bland, and easy, right? All the trainers in this are a joke. Still super low level Pokemon in all the fucking grasses. The gym leaders are easy as fuck, most of them, right? And that's also because of the open nature of the game. And then suddenly Red is like level 80 Pokemon for no reason.
Yeah.
The remixed music is pretty good, but man, some of these areas suffer so much. And Heart Gold Soul Silver makes this a little bit more appealing. but god damn, are all these areas bland and boring and uninteresting, and like you get there and like, okay, there's this hint of like things have changed because Blue is a gym leader now in Viridian City, and Cinnabar Island, the volcano blew up, and that part is cool. Why wasn't the entirety of Kanto like this? Why wasn't it made linear and you explore this region in a progressive way that interacts with the story in some way?
It'd be a bit difficult to do that, considering the fact that like you would have been able to get all the TMs at that point. I think even like, but yeah, I don't know. Team Magma wanted more land, and I guess Ground did warm the earth, but Aqua wanted to make the sea levels rise. Yeah, because like one was like for humanity and the other one was for Pokemon. That was how I understood it. Even though Team Aqua didn't understand that, like, well, their land Pokemon exist.
And isn't just some like way too big post game that lets you like explore this region that got fundamentally changed by like story events, right? This would be so much more interesting than what we got. It's literally the best thing about Kanto is its selling point. It's, hey, you can go to Kanto again. Oh, cool. I bet a lot of shit has changed since I last left, and I bet I can like explore some new areas and see how the new Pokemon that are in this game affect this, and see like how all the characters have progressed and stuff. Well, actually, not. But you can go to Kanto. You can go to Kanto. You can go to Kanto. Okay? Are like the gym leaders like super hard? Do they all have like insane Pokemon? And is it like? And can I get like cool legendaries, and do I like see how everything has changed over the years and stuff? And
nope, but they did that for Herco and Soul Silver.
Do I encounter like super like hard Pokemon outside, and are all the trainers like super powered up because they're all in Kanto now? Well, you know, you can go to Kanto. It just feels like wasted potential, and it feels like if the effort that was put into putting this into the game was put into making Johto a complete region with a better story, I think this gen could have been something really cool. Because, to be honest, for what the Game Boy Color was capable of, Gen 2 was pretty. The music was great, the sound fonts were great, and there was like, in contrast to Kanto, Johto has a very...
Sage, you gotta solve this debate me and Ant were having. Is Heart Gold and Soul Silver Gen 2 or Gen 4? It's a Gen 2 remake that came out in Gen 4, but it primarily features Gen 2 Mons. The only Mons that they really feature in the base game, in the base storyline, are like, Gen 2 Mons, although there are some Gen 4 Mons you have access to. So I would more be inclined to say it's a Gen 2 remake. So I would say Gen 2. It doesn't, the problem is that like in comparison, like but that's an interesting debate.
Consistent theming throughout its region. It's very like Japanese, old schooly. I don't know what this vibe is specifically. Maybe some weeb in chat knows what I'm talking about. But it like commits to like a theme and it sticks to it. Kind of like future generations do. I think Hoenn is a good example of this, and so is Alola. There's a very consistent theme, and I think it could have been interesting to have a fully fleshed out region that's built around Johto's mythos, right? And there's just not. And this is reflected in the remakes that look really beautiful. And the problems I have with the remakes is that they fail to address almost all of the problems that I have with Gen 2. Some Pokemon are better now because of the physical special split and abilities. That's cool. Some of them get evolutions. That's cool. So it fixes some of those problems, but the levels are still bad. The story is still bad. It looks very pretty. It's in a Gen 4 engine, which doesn't help with the game being slow as shit. It helps. But not in like the significant ways. I recommend you go play Sacred Gold Storm Silver by Drayano. He makes Kanto.
Are you still on?
Yeah. I would argue that like Gen 2 is just like
linear-ish. The level curve is way fucking better. You get way more cool Pokemon, and you can just see how cool of an
Gen 2 has like a lot of, I feel like with Heart Gold and Soul Silver though, there's just a lot of stuff that's done pretty decently though. And I don't think they're like terrible games in that regard, and they also are pretty great remakes. And they fix a bunch. They actually make the post game a lot better in comparison with Gen 2 too, and also allow you to catch Pokemon like, let's say, Mewtwo, Zapdos, Moltres, Articuno. You get to catch all those Gen 2 Mons that you weren't able to catch in the original Gen 2 games. Plus, you get like Suicune in that. I defend Heart Gold and Soul Silver a lot.
Experience Johto can be when you have a large Pokemon variety and good level curves and challenging battles And he even adds a little bit of story to it. There's a Giovanni fight with in the Team Rocket episode in Goldenrod. There's a Team Rocket event added to the Safari Zone, which is really cool. And it fixes a lot of these problems. I think it's an interesting case study. I think Gen 2 had a lot of potential, but I think the Pokemon all being bad and the game being really rushed fundamentally broke this game, and the story being extremely lackluster didn't help. Like, I'm not saying
You could get all the Gen 1 mons in the OG Gen 2 games, I'm pretty sure. Not all of them.
Pokemon ever has had good writing or anything, but at least there's a sense of progression in the other Pokemon games in terms of story. And I guess those are my...
You couldn't get Mewtwo in the wild. You couldn't get Zapdos in the wild. You couldn't get Articuno in the wild. You couldn't get Moltres in the wild at all.
Thoughts on Pokemon Gold and Silver. Make sure to write all your hateful comments down below in the YouTube comments, and tell me about how wrong I am. I look forward to reading absolutely none of your comments. Press the dislike button to get me up in the algorithm. And thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell, guys.
Alright, that's about it for your stream, guys. See you guys later. Bye-bye.